Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So I purchased this 3-compartment food organizer on walmart.com, and I don't believe you can actually get it in the store, or at least I didn't see it in mine, but on the website it was only about $48, $49, and that was with shipping, so it wasn't too bad at all. And it just has 3 food compartments and then a top shelf. It is one that I guess is designed to hang on the wall because it does have wall hooks. But I just decided that I wanted to put it on the counter for right now until I really find like a really good place to put it on the wall. So I'm just basically putting all of my produce that I don't want to have refrigerated right away. So I'm just kind of playing around with getting all of my food that was in ginormous bowls. They were scattered all over the kitchen. And if you've seen my cleaning videos with my kitchen, you know I don't really have a lot of counter space and my kitchen's not very big, so it was a little challenging. And since all the bowls were round, it really took up a lot of space. So I'm so happy that this just fit so perfectly exactly where I needed it to go. So definitely thumbs up for that. And on the little fronts, you can see you can put labels in them. I'm going to be changing them up all the time, so I'm probably never going to use that part. So now we're going into dinner, and I decided to make curry potatoes. So I just put some I think they're called bouillons, chicken bouillons, and plenty of water, and cut up my potatoes. And so that's the brand of bouillon. And then I'm just using the yellow curry that's mild, some salt and pepper, and I went ahead and made up some rice. So now we are moving on to the daunting task of organizing my pantry. I have put this off for so long. I try to keep my pantry pretty organized, but it's looking a wreck. And I realized I have way too many snacks. So I think it was time that I went ahead, because if I bought any more groceries, which I shouldn't need to do until like 2022, that I wouldn't be able to fit them in here. So I'm just starting by taking everything out, and I really didn't have a lot of space because my kitchen table is pretty small, so I really only did 2. And I already have my pantry pretty much organized as far as the shelves go, so I have it organized as like the type of food or how I want it separated basically. So I knew that it was pretty much fine like how it was already set up, and I already knew what shelf to reach for what item. I just needed it to look a little cleaner. So I basically just did 2 rows at a time just so I would have enough room and I would be able to see everything spread out to know what I needed to put where. And yeah, so I'm just going through and I'm going to be doing this now. And there I'm just trying to fit because I realized that those items were related to breakfast because they were syrup and honeys, and so I wanted them on like where the waffle and pancake mixes and like, so you'll see it like a little later, but this is basically like my condiment row, I guess you would say. Like all of my spices and jams and ketchups and extra garlic and sauces and hot sauce and everything like that is basically this row. And kind of like all my mixes and stuff that we buy in like little packs. And somehow I have an entire row dedicated to that. But that's pretty much the most useful row in my pantry, believe it or not. It's used very frequently. So I guess that makes up for it, right? So I have this little organizer that I use that is actually a Chinese food to-go box. So yay for recycling. But this is what I just used to put all of my loose items in. So just the little packets, any seasonings to make like meals, you know, taco seasoning and stuff like that. And yes, I have a whole bunch of Taco Bell sauce. So I'm just kind of organizing this so that way I can put it back in the pantry, and it looks really neat, and eventually I will use all of the things. Oh yeah, and high five to me for having that Chick-fil-A salsa, because I don't know how I ate my breakfast burrito and only used 1 pack of salsa. So that's pretty impressive just in itself. So now I'm just putting in the rest of the bigger items, and here I have 3 jars of the bouillon cubes, but I actually only have 2 that have the bouillons in them. I have a beef and a chicken, because I actually reuse those little jarred containers because they are perfect if you want to make your own spices up. So I basically concocted this like Mexican seasoning just like perfectly how I like it. So I use that for a lot of recipes too, because it's just like a whole bunch of my favorite spices just combined into one little jar. So it's super convenient. So I would say before you throw out any glass jars or any little containers like that, to just try to reuse them because they're perfect for a whole bunch of things. So now I'm just moving up to where my drink aisle is. I'm gonna call it aisles because it's kind of like shopping at a grocery store. So this is kind of like my breakfast like drinks, because I had like my drink powder like mixes, and here I'm finally opening my Hershey Cocoa. And it is so messy. Like, I know if y'all have ever used this, like the powdered kind, it gets everywhere. So I'm just putting it in a Ziploc so it doesn't ruin like the little shelf. And I actually put, not wallpaper. Why do I keep wanting to call this wallpaper? It is actually wrapping paper. So my shelves, they're not painted polka dots. They were just plain white wood shelves, and I wrapped them with wrapping paper. I know that's probably really silly, but it actually helps pretty well with cleaning it as well, because if something gets on the paper, it's just super easy to just wipe it away, versus with the wood, it would halfway get in like the wood grains and everything. Like if it was like powdered, you'd actually have to get like a little brush and do that, but I kind of like how it looks too, so that's mainly like why I decided to put the wrapping paper. But anyways, I thought it just added like a cute little touch. So if you don't have, because I know that some of the drawer liners and the shelf liners and everything, they can actually be kind of expensive. I have seen some really cute ones at the Dollar Tree, but you get sort of like a roll of it. And to use wrapping paper, you can buy wrapping paper super cheap and you get so much more of it, and just buy double-sided tape and then just tape it down. It's not going to be it's not going to hold up as well, so it's not going to be as protected against like water or anything like that. But if you're in a pinch and you don't have enough money to spend on a lot of paper to put at the bottom of your drawers or on your shelves, do wrapping paper. So this is my most, I would say it's my most used aisle because it's where all of the noodles and rices are, which should be my least favorite aisle because I should not want to eat these items, but these are my favorite items in the world. So that's why this row, it is more organized, but it still looks like chaos because there's so much food. And yeah, I will eat it too. I'll eat it, but there's just way too much. I go overboard when I see anything to do with noodles or rice. Yeah, I can't help myself. So this row is kind of like the batters and like, I don't even know what you would call it, like cake mixes and stuff like that. And you know, muffin mixes, and I don't know, it's just kind of like a random assortment. So I'm just putting some extra items up here and then using the rest of the room for my snacks. So I basically am trying to buy items that I can take to work that are easy for me to eat, that I can just keep in my lunchbox, where I don't really have to have it refrigerated or I don't have to make it. So that's why I have like 18,000 bags of beef jerky. And this top row is probably the most satisfying to look at, aside from the spices, because it had way less stuff, so of course it looked way better. So here is the final product. And I mean, it does look still a little chaotic, but I'm just so happy that I don't have things like stacked on top of each other and things are like falling out when you open the door. So it's a win-win. I hope it gave y'all some ideas. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.